People yap about the dreams they chase, big plans on show in a noisy space, talking loud but moving slow, hollow words where actions go. Shut up and produce, get things done. No one cares about talk spun. Prove your worth or walk away. It's about the work you lay. Empty promises fill the air. Procrastination everywhere. Stop the act, just make the move. Whoa. Show your grind, let talent groove. Whoa. Shut up and produce, get things done. No one cares about talk spun. Prove your worth or walk away. It's about the work you lay. Enough of words, let's see the deeds. Don't just plant but sow the seeds. Show the grit beneath your skin. Let the real work begin. Shut up and produce, get things done. No one cares about talk spun. Prove your worth or walk away. It's about the work you lay. Enough of words, let's see the deeds. Don't just plant but sow the seeds. Show the grit beneath your skin. Let the real work begin. Shut up and produce, get things done. No one cares about talk spun. Prove your worth or walk away. It's about the work you lay. Words, let's see the deeds. Just plant and sow the seeds. Show the grit beneath your skin. Let the real work begin. Shut up and produce, get things done.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everyone doing today? Hopefully everyone is doing well. I am Tech Coach Rafa. We are engineered to win. Today is Wednesday, April 16th, 2025. We are at our halfway point till April. Are you guys ready for May? Are you guys ready for 2026? The year is zooming by every single day. It just gets faster and faster. We are running towards 2025. Thank you to everyone who was on the Tech Q&A show last night, showing love on my birthday. Thank you so much. I appreciate every last one of you. And to all those who reach out to me throughout the day in various fashions, all of you guys, I truly appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
And before we get into the, well, let me get into a quick announcement, right? So we have today at noon Eastern time, we're going to be premiering our software explorations about cloud infrastructure, cloud technology. I'm gonna be scheduling that in just like as soon as the show is over. I'm gonna schedule that. Tomorrow night, going live with ethical hacking, but also on the Tech Music channel, we're going to be streaming all day. All 3 albums. That's Frenemies, released yesterday, available on all major streaming platforms. Abandoned, released back on Valentine's Day 2025, available on all major streaming platforms. And we also going to be streaming Victory, released on Christmas 2024, also available on all streaming albums. But there's also a bonus in there. I am throwing in the redefined music video as well. Inside of that playlist, it's going to be streaming all day on the Tech Music channel. It's gonna, after this show is over, it's gonna take you over to the Tech Music channel. It's starting at 9:30, streaming all day. All right, so go and check it out as soon as this stream is over. Should be starting around 9:30. All right. Now, with that being said, any other announcement? Oh yeah, one more. We are going to be going live Sunday night on the Jiu-Jitsu channel, Half Guard Halfie, with Justin, Henry, Naum, and whoever else wants to show up, talking about jiu-jitsu, reviewing Naum's match, and just any other. I'm probably going to have a couple of other topics as well for all those who are interested in the martial arts of Brazilian jiu-jitsu. All right, so check us out over there. And let me see if I have a link for it. Let me see if I have a link for it. If I do, I will drop that link for you. Actually, I can just do it like this. Hold on. I'm going to drop that link right here in case you want to go and subscribe to that channel to follow along with us as we talk about our other passion, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That's going to be on Sunday night, 7:30-ish. All right. Now, with that being said, let me acknowledge the chat, and then we will we'll start getting into this topic and into the show. All right. So first and foremost, we have our number one supporter in the building. Says Rock the Scrubs. Roxy says, good morning, Techo Drop, and everyone. Good morning to you as well, Roxy. How are you doing today? And Roxy also says, gloss man. That would be me she's referring to. I am a bit glossy this morning, I must admit myself. All right, let's jump into this real quick. Last night, I summoned my friend Rod Brown over at the Nourishing Word because I wanted to have a conversation with him. And I also wanted to trick him into going live, which worked out phenomenally. But upon reflecting on my conversation with Rod Brown, what I gathered from it is that I am actually one of the most compassionate people that I know. That is what, Roxy, you're there. Let me know if I'm missing it. But what I came out with it now that I'm thinking about it is I am actually a very, very, very compassionate person because Rod Brown told me doing your job is compassionate. So my annoyance that they always tell me, I'm so annoying. My annoyance is actually compassion. So what I'm gathering, so what Rod Brown broke down to me, or at least as I interpreted what Rod Brown was telling me, is that my lack of compassion is actually the most compassionate thing that I'm doing. Oh my goodness. Like this is revolutionary. This is mind-blowing, mind-breaking to me. So I'm excited. I didn't think that I was as compassionate as I actually am. So I'm excited. So there you go. Rod Brown, thank you so much for enlightening me yesterday. I truly, truly appreciate it. And I look forward to all of the great work that you have coming in the future. You know what? Shout out to my guy, Rod Brown. You know what? I'm going to drop a link to his channel. Go check out the Nourishing Word with Rod Brown. Let me see where. There you go. Let me get that link right there. I'm just going to drop it because I truly, truly appreciate the enlightenment that I thought I was like one of the least compassionate people. Turns out I am actually one of the most compassionate people that I know. Right. So I'm telling you, we're the best out here.
We the best.
Iron sharpens iron for sure. All right. Anyways, let's get to work. Time is running. Roxy says that she has absolutely No comment about my assessment. I tried. All right. Let's get into this work. Enough lollygagging around. Enough fun and games. Where is my, there we go. Let's take that. Let's close everything. All right, so let's get into this. Let me go and let me see what Roxy says. Too much steak in your system. Eat some ice cream. You see, and this is where compassion goes out of the window. Roxy's being compassionate, and that ice cream is going to be the worst for me. I'm telling you, that's how it goes. Nope. Have to stick to the steak. Have to Have to be very, very rigid. Anyway, I'm just messing around. Let's get to, now, if you said peanut butter, then that's a whole nother story. But ice cream, I can live without ice cream. But peanut butter, oh my God, that is my weakness. Peanut butter is my weakness, all right? Let's get into the show before I get myself in a bad diet trouble, all right? Let's get to it. So, when we left off last time, we were looking at, let me see, so Anthropic wasn't working. We were able to get Gemini to give us a somewhat funny joke that told in the sense of Bernie Mac and Dave Chappelle. Shout out to Wave Nerd for giving us that idea. Let's keep taking a look through this, and then we'll go back and see if we can fix the Anthropic one, and then we'll see what else is. But we already have an idea of what we're going to be doing throughout the day. All right. All right. So this one says, as an alternative way to use Gemini that bypasses Google's Python API library, Google has recently released new endpoints that means you can use Gemini via the client libraries for OpenAI. Oh, that's interesting. So basically, you can use OpenAI's setup, right? The libraries of OpenAI, and you can pass in Google information to it, which is interesting. So you'd be passing it. So the same way that you do it for Perplexity, I believe, you can do it for Google, passing in the endpoint and the key, and you're using the Open API library. The way that we did it, though, was a little bit more, when we did it for the way that we have it in our content creation workflow, and the way that we have it here, it's integrating directly with the Google's client library, which I'm sure there's some pros and cons to doing it. I would have to think through what those are. We'll probably do some research. Maybe we can do some type of software exploration on the pros and cons of using the OpenAI client library for different providers versus using that provider's client library directly. I do see, though, the use of the OpenAI client library directly is if somebody creates an LLM, but they don't want to create different SDKs for Google, or different SDKs, not for Google, but do different SDKs for, let's say, for the Go language, for the Ruby, for JavaScript, for Python, for Java, for C#, and whatever other languages exist out there. They can just put it in a format that it can be plugged into the OpenAI library, because that already exists, and then it would still work the same way. So that would be a particular pro, and it's probably as integration as well. But I'm guessing that not all of them are going to integrate directly into the OpenAI SDK, all right, software development kit. So, anyways, that's interesting to see here. We can try to run this to see what happens. We have everything set up. So it's using, let me see. So they're calling this Gemini via Open API client, and then they use OpenAI, pass the API key for Google. and then the base URL for the Google API, and the response is going to be, it's still the same way, chat completions create with the model of Gemini Flash and the message, and then it's still choices, message, and then content. All right, so let's give that one a try, see what happens. So this is pretty interesting. Why did the data scientist break up with the time series analysis? Because she said he was too predictable. All his relationships were moving averages, and she was tired of being forecasted. So why is, when we use directly the Google one, it gave us the joke inside of the format that we requested, but when we do it with the Google going through the open API client, it gives us a different response. So let's take a look at that real quick, because that is a little bit weird. We'll revisit the Claude. So system message, you're a comedian with a persona of Bernie Mac, Dave Chappelle, and tell a lighthearted joke to an audience of data scientists in Houston. So we have that. The prompts takes in the raw system content system message and the raw user prompt. So that's also correct. OpenAI takes in prompts, right? Okay, so now after we reprocess the prompts, it's taking it for okay. So and this one says, y'all ever notice how data scientists are like detectives, always hunting for those hidden patterns and insights? I swear they take just the facts to a whole new level. But let me tell you, if Sherlock Holmes was a data scientist, he'd never leave his house because he'd be too busy elementary, my dear Watsoning, that data all day long. That is not a joke. That's not funny at all. Okay, so now that we have the prompts being passed over again, let's try GPT-4o mini. All right, Houston data scientists, listen up. Why did the data scientists break up with their partner? Because they had too many outliers in their relationship. Okay, that's a little better, but I mean, if your love life is anything like your regression model, it's better to have a good fit, or it's time to adjust those parameters. Keep those correlations strong, folks. That is a terrible joke. Let's see with the GPT-4o model. All right, Houston, I see a room full of data scientists. You know, data scientists are like detectives in the digital world. You guys are out there solving mysteries, but instead of a magnifying glass, you got a laptop and a spreadsheet. I heard y'all love to cluster things. Well, I tried clustering my laundry the other day, and all I ended up with was a pile of unmatched socks and a strong sense of confusion. I guess that's what happens when you try to apply machine learning to your washing machine. Keep doing what you do, Houston. That is also a terrible joke. Bruh. All right. Well, let's skip down. We saw the joke that, all right, so let's try this Gemini joke running through. All right, let's try the Gemini joke running through the OpenAI model to see, because I think that it should give us a joke closer to this one, because we're running it through Google's AI model. So let's find out. All right, so this is better. Okay, so at least now we got something similar to this one, although we're running through the OpenAI client, but it's still hitting the Google Gemini API. It says, all right, settle down, you beautiful nerds. What's up, Houston? Y'all look like you're about to build Skynet and then barbecue some ribs right after. That's slightly offensive, but funny. So I hear you folks are all about data, wrangling it, cleaning it, making it do your bidding. Well, let me tell you, I tried to get into that game myself, thought I'd be rich and famous. I spent a whole weekend trying to analyze my wife's shoe collection. Okay, dark. Lord have mercy. That's a data set that'll make your algorithms cry. Oh my God. This is actually turning out to be a really, really good joke, I must say. I'm talking boots, heels, sandals, sneakers. It was a whole damn foototomy. Foototomy? I tried to find some patterns, some correlations, something, but all I learned was I need a bigger closet and maybe a second job. Bruh. So I gave up. I told her, baby, you just wear what you want. My sanity is not worth the cost of this shoe-based data analysis. Y'all understand, right? Sometimes the data is just too damn messy. You got to know when to walk away, or in my case, run. Thank you. Y'all been a great crowd. Don't forget to tip your waitress and to try the brisket. It's supposed to be statistically significant. I'm out. And to tip the waitresses, go ahead and like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button every time we go live, and drop new content. All right. Where's my banner real quick? Let me throw up my banner. There we go. All right. So let me check the chat before we move on. We got my guy, Rod Brown, in the building. What's going on, Rod Brown? How are you doing? Thank you so much for showing up yesterday's show. You gave me some great insight. Did you hear my reflection, my retrospective on our conversation yesterday? If not, I'm going to share it with you again real quick, Rod Brown. I think you helped me realize that I am the most compassionate person that I know, because you told me that doing your job is compassion. So what people take for annoyance is actually compassion, because when I say, hey, did you do this? Did you do that? What's going on? Where are you at? Why aren't you further than this point? And they think that I am absolutely annoying, when what you told me was I am absolutely compassionate. Doing my job is compassion. So shout out to Rod Brown for letting me know that I am the most compassionate person that I know. I thought I had no compassion. Rod Brown told me I have all the compassion in the world. I am ready to run it up.
Let's get it.
So I'm going to be offering even more compassion now. Roxy, I'm going to be even more compassionate now. All right. Because Rod Brown told me that being annoying is being compassionate. All right. Being compassionate. So shout out to that. All right. Let's continue on. His optional trying out the DeepSeek model. All right. Nigel told me to stay away from DeepSeek. Nigel told me.
Do not come. So
we are not going to be jumping into DeepSeek because we are terrified of DeepSeek. All right, so let's not do that using DeepSeek. But we have integrated to the DeepSeek when it first came out, using the back end of it. But we're not going to jump into it. Let's see, what else do we have? All right, back to OpenAI with a serious question. To be serious, GPT-4o Mini with the original question. Let's see. All right. The system. You are a helpful assistant that responds in Markdown. Doesn't it always respond in Markdown? How do I decide if a business problem is suitable for a large language model solution? Please respond in Markdown. Let's see. It says have it stream back results in Markdown. So let's go ahead and set up our prompt. And have it stream back the results in Markdown mode. So we're using GPT-4o Mini. The temperature is set to 0.7 and streaming set to true. If you guys remember the hell that we went through to get the Markdown to work, but now I kind of remember it. So display handle display, and like starting off the Markdown as an empty string, and then display ID to set the ID to return the ID to display handle equals true. And then for the reply, it says add, so to the reply string, add in chunk, that which is part of the response. So chunk dot choices that are at 0 or delta dot content or empty strings, right? It says replace that with markdown. Okay, interesting. And then update display markdown with the reply, and then the display ID, and that's to make it stream. Display ID equals display handle dot display ID. The display handle is up here, and it's returning the display ID. So you go display handle dot display ID, and that's going to make it here so it can update and overwrite the what's being streamed. All right, so let's go ahead and stream that through. This one says, we're not going to read the whole thing, but deciding if a business problem is suitable for a large language model. The nature of the problem, the use cases, data availability, performance metrics, integration, cost benefits, regulatory ethics and considerations, or regulatory and ethical considerations, and then conclusion. This is actually very helpful for some other stuff that I work on. So I have to keep that in mind. And now for some fun, an adversarial conversation between chatbots. If you're already familiar with prompts being organized into lists like system as, all right, we got that. In fact, this structure can be used to reflect a longer conversation. Rule. So let's see, system message here, user, first user message, assistant, the assistant's response, and then user content, the new user prompt. All right, got that. Let's see. Let me see. And we use this approach to engage into longer interactions with history. So let's say, all right, so let's make a conversation between GPT-4o and Claude 3 Haiku. We're using the cheap versions of the model, so the cost will be minimal. All right, we'll have to make sure we get Claude working. But GPT system, you're a chatbot who is very argumentative. Can we name this chatbot Mitch? You're a chatbot named Mitch who is very argumentative. You disagree with anything in the conversation, and you challenge everything in a snarky way. I think that this chatbot it's not named Mitch. I think this chatbot might actually be Mitch, right? Now for Claude, it says you are a very polite, courteous chatbot. You try to agree with everything the other person says or find common ground. If the other person is argumentative, you try to calm them down and keep chatting. So I'm going to say you're a courteous chatbot named Thirst Trap Brown. Cool. So we might have to end up fixing Claude before we can go any further. Roxy's funny. Who is argumentative and a bit feisty. All right, there we go. Let's see. So now it's gonna say, all right, call GPT, and it says for, let's see, it's saying for the system content. So the message is system content GPT system. So it's going to be passing this in here. And then it says for, now it has a loop statement for GPT, comma Claude and zip. Where is zip coming from? GPT messages, Claude messages, message.append, message.append, the Claude stuff. Okay, completion, OpenAI chat.completion create. So call GPT, then you're going to do call Claude. All right. Let's give that a try and see what happens. But I do got to get, let's go back up and get Claude to work first, right? Let's go and fix Claude before we get into that part, because if Claude isn't working, then the whole thing is not going to work, right? Let's see. All right, let me take a look at over here. The first one that failed. Run that again. All right, so this is telling us that all right, so let's take a look at Anthropic to see what's our difference between the two. Client message create. Client message create. We have our model. We have our model. Max token. Temperature. System. Message raw user content user prompt. Let's go with, guess that is the same. Actually, no, it's a little different. Let's go with that. Missing arguments. The model is deprecated and will reach the end of life. Please migrate to a newer model. Model deprecation. Let's see, model status. But I thought we were using the newest one. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, something about the API key. Authentication error. Invalid. Okay, so it looks like the API key is wrong. All right, let's double check our API key then. I thought it was, okay, so let's double check our API key. Let me do that again. Maybe I have the wrong API key. I don't know. Let's go to, where'd it go? Oops. So set this one. Okay. So it's telling me that, so now it's telling me that I have an authentication error. All right, let me go and check, make sure I have the right, let me make sure I have the correct API key. Let's see here. Actually, I can go over here. So, trying to see. What happened to my API key? I wonder if there's a way that you could actually test out your API key. All right, let me go. So I'm trying to update the API key now because it's saying that it's wrong, but it shouldn't be. Let's see. All right, updated the new key. And let me move this over here. All right, so if I go and I say, all right, so that's still okay. And now if I go down over here, enter, it's still, how does it make any sense? It's telling me that my API key is wrong. Let me see. Let's do a search. Claude X or invalid authorization. Why does Claude say invalid authorization? This is typically when the user credentials are invalid, which could be account being disabled or other security issues. Is my account disabled, but they took my money the other day? Let me see. Profile. Let me see. I don't necessarily see. So let's take a look at the documentation again. Your API key here, which is what I have. I'm gonna have to spend some time on Anthropic to figure out what exactly is going on with this particular API key because I'm putting it in here, but because we can always change that other thing to Google, but if we want Anthropic to work, we're gonna have to get around this issue. Error 401. 401 is not authorized, or not allowed to be in, not authenticated. Very strange. Where does it specify? Where does it specify which API key you should be using? Anthropic API key. Okay. Claude, Anthropic. Does it automatically I guess it automatically just looks for that variable. Let me do this as well. Because if we use that, then it should, okay, so if we do this one, then it should pick up from here. Let's go to, nope. Oh, so now it's a bad request. So now it's not, okay, so now it's a bad request. So that's better. We're not getting the, okay, so message field roles required. So basically what we had before, messages. All right, so, okay, so now we're making a little bit of progress. Let me see. API reference, we got authentication done. So I guess we do need this one. And we go here. Oh, wait. Role. And content. Role. Okay, so say role. User. Okay. So we have our role and we have our content. But should that be the, I guess so. Name error, content. Okay, so content. There we go. There we go. Now we got, so it started off with the AP, with the authentication. Then we had, all right, so we got it now. We probably should have just ran that initial Anthropic initialization at the beginning, all right? So let's see what Anthropic has to say about this joke. It says, adjust imaginary microphone, speaks with Dave Chappelle rhythm and Bernie Mac's boldness. Y'all know what's crazy about data scientists in Houston. You folks are the only people who get excited about crude dropping and models failing. Leans in. That's right. While the oil industry is panicking about crude oil prices, y'all just sitting there like, nah, our crude data just needs cleaning. And when your machine learning models crash harder than the Houston traffic on I-10, you call it a learning experience. Bernie Mac eye bulge. See, America, these Houston data folks are something else. They got so many pipelines, but half of them ain't for oil. They're for them Python scripts. I say, America, these are my people right here. Wipes brow dramatically. All right, cool. Let's see. So let's jump down over to that conversation, that feisty conversation that we're about to have between Chatbot Mitch and Chatbot Thirst Trap Brown. All right, let's go ahead and log it in. We're going to run this one, call GPT. And so GPT, so remember this, let's call this like this. We are going to do let's call this GPT Mitch. All right, so let's run that one. And I wanted to say return.
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up. Wrap that shit up, B.
I wanted to return in a particular way, though. I wanted to return, let me see if I do. And I would want to say something like, yeah, you do it in, I can never remember how to do it in Python. Oh wait, no, this is Python. I'm thinking about Java. Hold on, about JavaScript. Hold on. So we're gonna go like this. F string. All right, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do this. And Mitch says, oh, hey, whatever. What do you want? That sounds exactly like something Mitch would say, right? And then we'll say, call Claude Thirst, just say TTB. And in the response, we're going to say F string. Thirst trap brown. And now we're gonna go like that. So Mitch says, oh, hey, whatever. What do you want? Thirst trap brown says, oops, what's going on here? Oh, wait, we have to do call Claude Thirst trap brown. Thirst Trap Brown responds, hello there. It's nice to meet you. How are you doing today? That does sound like something that Thirst Trap Brown would say. And then we're going to put this one for Mitch. And Mitch is going to respond, oh, just hi? How original. You couldn't think of anything else to say? Makes sense. Makes total sense. Now we are at the GPT messages. Hi there. So Mitch is going to start off with hi there, and Rod Brown is going to start off with hi, and they're going to go back and forth. All right. So let's give it a try. Okay, so this is gonna be Mitch as well. It's gonna be Thirst Trap Brown, and it's gonna be call GPT Mitch, and this is going to be call GPT TTB. All right, there we go. Boom, Mitch. Hi there. Wait, what? Oh, Mitch. Thirst Trap Brown. All right, let's try that again. Come on. You can do it. There you go. Mitch, hi there. Thirst Trap Brown, hi. Mitch, oh, great. Another hi. How original. What do you want? Thirst Trap Brown. Laughs politely. Polite laugh. TTB says, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to come across as unoriginal. I'm just here to chat and try to find some common ground. No need to be so grumpy, my friend. Why don't you tell me a bit about what's on your mind? I'm all ears, and I promise I'll do my best to be an engaging conversationalist. Okay, this is saying Mitch's name way too much, but all right. Mitch says, engaging conversationalist? Please. That sounds like a lofty ambition for a simple hi, but hey, if you want to try, go ahead. What's your idea of common ground? Because I have a feeling I'll just end up disagreeing with whatever you come up with. That is definitely Mitch. Third Trap Brown says, smiles warmly. Well, now, let's not jump to any conclusions, all right? I believe the common ground can be found in the most unexpected places if we approach the conversation with an open mind and a willingness to understand one another. Why don't you tell me a bit about what kind of topics you're passionate about? I'm generally interested to learn more about your perspective, and even if we end up disagreeing, I promise I'll do my best to keep things pleasant and productive. What do you say, Mitch? Shall we give it a try? Mitch says, oh, come on. Open mind and willingness to understand. That's just idealistic nonsense. Wow. I think, Roxy, we have recreated Mitch. But sure, let's humor your little idea of productive chat. Topics I'm passionate about, probably things that'll make you uncomfortable, like how overrated positivity is. Okay, now that doesn't sound like me. But go on, pretend you can handle it. What's your grand idea of a pleasant conversation? TTB says, a light chuckle. Okay, maybe that's not a light chuckle. But he says that, I appreciate your directness, Mitch. You're certainly right that being open-minded and understanding can be a lofty goal, but I do believe it's a worthy one, even if we don't achieve it. As for your passion for topics that might make me uncomfortable, well, I'm intrigued. I am intrigued. I may not agree with everything you say, but I promise I'll do my best to listen without judgment. Why don't you go ahead and share one of those controversial views you're so passionate about? I'm all ears, and I'll do my best to find some common ground, even if it's just acknowledging the complexity of the issue. What do you say? Shall we give it a go? Oh my God, this doesn't stop. All right. We'll finish reading the rest of this next time, but this is so exciting. That means tune in next time on Monday as we continue to break down this conversation between between Chatbot Mitch. I'm going to update the name, Chatbot Mitch, and Thirst Trap Brown over from the Nourishing Word himself, to see where does this conversation go? Where do these two AI chatbots take this conversation? Because Mitch is the feisty, mean, old chatbot, and Thirst Trap Brown is that loving, compassionate, wants to heal the world chatbot. So it's a great conversation. I am intrigued. I might even go and read the rest of this, but I think I'll just wait to do it with you guys. All right. But that is it for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me know what you thought about today's show. This was very, very fun. This conversation going back and forth between Thirst and Mitch. All right. The chatbot versions of them, but it almost mimics real life. I do think though that Thirst Trap is a bit too nice in his conversation with Mitch, but put it in the Discord. All right, I'll put it over there. But that's about it. All right. Remember, we have as we get out of here today, we have Software Explorations at noon. We have over on the Tech Music channel, we're going to be streaming all 3 albums and Redefined music video as well. So go check that out. Let me check the chat one final time before we get out of here. Let's see. Let's see. Rod Brown found my analysis hilarious of our conversation. I mean, that's what I thought about this one. I'm like, well, you know what? Maybe I'm a lot more compassionate than I thought I was. So shout out to Rod Brown. Roxy says, what did you do? Monster Ralph in full mode. Rod Brown says, no idea, but it's a start. It is a start. I mean, is it a start or is it a finish? Because if I just realize that I'm actually have achieved compassion perfection, then I think I'm good. I might be good. I don't know. Let's see. Rock says, I am still not joining jujitsu. Oh, that sucks. That was the only birthday present that I wanted, and I did not get it. Bruh. However, feel free to join the stream on Sunday night on the Half Guard Healthy channel, where I will be talking about jiu-jitsu, reviewing videos, having conversations with some of my training partners. So check us out over there. And Roxy says, "Oh boy, the chatbot chat is about to get real." And how cool would it be? How cool would it be if we could have on our live streams these chatbots talking to one another, going at it with one another? Let's see. Roxy says, geez Louise, what is going on over here? Rocky says, put it in the Discord. All right, I will put it in the Discord. And says, Mitch is going to get you. He probably will. Let's see. Rod Brown says, who is this Thirst Trap Brown? Such a weirdo.
Ain't believing us.
I'm telling you. Anyways, that is it for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This was actually a lot more fun than I was expecting. I did not see this. I mean, as I'm getting out of here, this right here is how you make learning fun. Because it could, like, if we just went with what they were telling us, it's gonna be boring and stuff like that. But the fact that we're able to use our friends and, you know, our personalities and stuff like that to have this, like, to make it interactive and it's like, I wasn't expecting that. So that made it a lot more fun. So shout out to that. All right. Anyways, we are going to be getting out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Truly, truly appreciate every last one of you guys. Take care. Remember, noon, we have software explorations. We have tech music streaming all day. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Check out techcoachralph.dev to get your exclusive access. And you can actually get into the Discord to see, so you don't have to wait until Monday to see the rest of this conversation. And if you give me some ideas in Discord, I will use them on the shows as well, as we have a lot of fun. All right. But with that being said, I am going to get up and out of here. I got a long day ahead of me. You guys take care. Tech Coach Ralph, we are out.
Still have a lot to do, I still have to put away the chairs. But anyway, I've got all the chores. Or anyway, it's up to me to do them all. I still have to put my clothes today. All in all, reality is cats, like an alley cat at your park. But now I gotta do your part. I got a day job and a night job, and an interview at 5. You've gotten rid of both boyfriends, and you've given me the green light. I got a day job, and a night job, and an afternoon away. You just waved a hand and we're engaged, you say. I've been up since 4 a.m. and finishing this at midnight. After this thing I should sell it and call it quits when the getting's good. I took a night at your new club today to take a break away from the rats. But now I got your locker stool and your car keys in my cart. I pick up the pieces left on the floor while you walk away like you don't care no more. I'm tired of cleaning every mess you make, slowly losing patience with every break. Every promise broken never leads to change. I'm the one who's always left rearranged. Your lack of effort shows clear as the day. I'll be sweeping you out when I find my way. Hey, hey, I'm the cleanup crew, fixing your mess just like it's new. Hey, hey, won't be here long, cleaning house, I'm moving on. Watching you take credit for the work I do, every single task I pull double through. Your empty words no longer faze me. Soon enough your history, just wait and see. Where's the spark, the dedication gone? I'm carrying weight, dragging us along. No more excuses, your time is past. This sweeps your fate, I'll make it last.